March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Adrian did it, bro? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that, bro. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, bro. Alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. It's Mia. Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Uh-oh. Phone call again. It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Do not worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial, yes? Ugh. For myself, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial opens, even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer Dude? Who is that? No one? It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer, bro? Alright, Pinocchio joke guy. Silly fucker. Alright, guys, trial on. Here we go. We gotta do this in one day. Let's do this. Wait, we don't even have an opponent? What's going on here?
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt on guard. All the prosecution and defense ready.
Defense is ready, Your Honor. Where the fuck is the offense?
I say, Mr. Wright, what has happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Hey, Your Honor!
Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an... Wait, what? What? Von Karma got shot? No!
What?
Shot? The fuck? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she disappeared, this would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition. Guarantee this is Edgeworth.
That's good. You're...
I thought he'd show up. Yup, there he is. It's Mother effing Edgeworth. Hell yeah. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Ms. Francisca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Nice! Awesome! Fantastic! The battle between Wright and Edgeworth continues. Ms. Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. And that is... By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Huh? Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the stand. Here he is. Good times to wait, I'm sure. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now.
For now?
After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yeah, yes, sir! Yeah, totally. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. You ready, Phoenix? This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. I hope it's that you were resolved to lose to me for the rest of your life, biatch. Alright, swig a Gatorade down. Let's hear the bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carrito, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the case, or the cause of death, that is, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Something tells me that's wrong, but we'll worry about that later.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room.
Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. Okay.
I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Alright, well, let's just press everything and get some more details, because what he told us can't be wrong unless he just maybe assumed something wrong. Alright, so here we go. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
The victim, Juan Carrito, was found dead in his hotel room. Bro, let's hear it. Sorry, I don't know why I was reading his shit. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah.
Who is this Adrian Andrews we're talking about?
She's the defendant, Matt Ungard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir.
Oh, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence.
I certainly hope so. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get a Mr. Ungard. After visiting his room, she went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir.
I see, and that's when she found the victim's body.
Okay, continuing on then. Pressing more things. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Carrito was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Okay. Take a good hard look at the crime photo, bruh. Now, real pro's attention would be drawn here, to this bandana. Huh?
Banana?
His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir?
Oh, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
Really? Really? Then what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. Huh.
We have a crafty murderer on our hands here.
Interesting. We didn't have the autopsy before, but now we know he wasn't stabbed to death. Okay. Choked to death instead. Okay. Continuing on then. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh? Then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory then.
Okay, so we have probably that the only prints on the case were his. That's probably our new detail. Anyway, let's press the last one and see if we even have to do anything else with this. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. They found it? The victim, Juan Carrito, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case?
Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with this case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his banana-scented bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir. Alright, so why on guard is under arrest. Here we go. Matt on guard and Juan Carito were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja's costume and was found in Mr. Engard's hakama. Looks like it has blood on it too. The defendant's fingerprints were also found all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. You know what? The knife. It has his fingerprints all over it, but it wasn't used to kill him. So why would we think that that doesn't make any sense. That just means it was planted there with his fingerprints to prove it was him, even though he wasn't killed by that. See what I mean? It's too easy. But we're gonna have to wait for our moment to prove that, or I should say, point that out.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Knife added to the court record. And then there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it?
And this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? So what? It's the victim's blood. That just means whoever killed him planted the button after the fact, which makes it all the more likely why it could be Adrian Andrews who did it.
All of this very clearly points to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? Huh. I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Ugh. Don't you fucking question my questions. I'll question however I want to question you, questionnaire, bitch. Here we go. Yeah. Huge rivals. Let's go ahead and elaborate. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Engard won, did he not? Yeah. But you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Carito was always one step behind Mr. Engard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Carito lost the Grand Prix in the end, huh?
That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing.
Indeed he must have. Why is that relevant? I don't know. Sad ninjas. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Engard was beating Mr. Carito in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Aw, yeah. No motive, bitch.
Yes, I quite agree. Well, Detective?
It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Yep, you knew Edgeworth's objection was on the way as soon as we started trying to be right. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No!
Now, Detective, let's continue with the testimony.
No, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Is this thing on? Bueller? Wow, they ignored my question completely. What assholes. Do you have any proof that button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you just tell by looking at it? Oh god, this motherfucker. And the victim's blood is on it. And Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me! Sir! Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now, to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. It's a perfect match, pal. Ah. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. Oh, Mia, Mia, Mia. Mamma Mia. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. He rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button.
So it was almost immediately after the murder.
The police didn't have free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? Asshole? Motherfucker, you weren't even in town when this happened. Or maybe you were, you were just watching from afar. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally overhand or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling in this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So is the defendant the owner of this knife then?
I don't know, is he? How do we know he bought the knife? Like, how do you have proof of that? There was no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't just some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't just walk around with it either. Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully, before it's too late. A button recovered in the victim's blood and a knife with unguard's fingertips. Or fingerprints, rather. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay, then. So, whatever he just said was the last thing. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Okay, but how do we know that? Bears the victim's blood. It is the grip. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Gatewater Hotel. Okay. Was ripped from his costume, found in guard's hakama. The autopsy says, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife after the fact. Okay. I'm going to save it real quick, because I don't know what we're about to do, and I don't want to lose points. And if we do lose points, I can reload it, whatever. Oh, no. Save it, please. I'm getting kind of winded, too. But I would like to get through this trial today, if I can. What can I present? Can I just present the knife itself and question it? What if I just present the knife itself? Objection! There's something wrong with it, and I'm probably going to have to point it out, but at least I can get myself moving forward on this. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife, you son of a bitch. Huh? Yeah, I was like, where the fuck's the proof that he bought the knife? That doesn't make any sense. Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll know what I'm talking about. Huh?
It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle.
Gatewater? I think I've heard of that name somewhere before. You dumb shit. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Dude, Detective Gumshoe, I don't feel bad for you whatsoever. I hope you lose your job. You're the worst detective I've ever seen in my life. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, dumbass. Which means this murder was not premeditated. You fucking idiot. What a dumb basis for an argument.
Yes, that is very true. This is a very big...
Uh-oh.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? Let me guess, that knife came from his room because they had that food on the table? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But it didn't... The question is, where did this knife come from?
Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corrida's room.
Tisk tisk. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. Did you see any food being eaten there? Well, there's a fork and a knife there. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. The knife and the fork are there. There's a knife.
There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
Because they would never give you two knives and the whole fucking wide world was fucking bullshit. If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. There's a knife missing. I get it. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? Yeah, a knife's missing. I get it. Ha ha funny. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Ungard's knife was missing. Mr. Ungard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Well then. Well done, Edgeworth. Well done.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. Uh-oh.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means the evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of defeat. I'm going to save it right now because we're about to have to present something. And again, I don't know what it's going to be. Something we haven't shown to the court yet.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present this court?
Edgeworth seems to think I do. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us.
You may now present one and only one piece of evidence.
I'm gonna save it right now because we're gonna. I mean, I know I just saved it, but let's get to. We don't have to do that dialogue again.
Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court?
That's a good question. What is important? Is it the wine glass? It's not this, is it? We didn't talk about the wine glass, though. Let's do it. Let's just see.
Take that!
Yeah, cool, I did it.
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time, Your Honor. Yeah, right. You damn right. The scene is a mess because the victim struggled against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on the top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Yeah, bitch. Well, what do you all have to say?
Ah, well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now, Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion?
You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. Bitch, what? Bitch, please. It's safe to say that that glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Could Ms. Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? It's possible. I mean, we can't say no. Yeah, see, there's nothing that points to her not being the one, so let's not even try to act like we know something else. If I raise an objection here, that would only make the judge slam his gavel down. You can't think like that, Phoenix. Mia? Right now, you're hanging on by a very thin thread. Anything else you can grab onto right now is better than nothing. So in other words, push as far as we can go. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory, Your Honor. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. We would?
You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Uh-oh. You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? No! There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? Damn. Owned us already. That was quick. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Carita. Probably. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Tisk, 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 tisk. Now do you see, Mr. Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario, as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor, and from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? He wants to be fucking definitive on his win if he thinks he's gonna win. He doesn't want to win off just the detectives telling us what's going on. He wants to fucking bring in her to stamp his, like, you know, to give more weight to his claims. Anyway, now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Uh-oh, I gotta do the old lady voice today, too. This is gonna hurt. Oh, God. Here we go. Back and forth begins. Hey, GRTCHA, you gotcha! Ugh. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, God. Oh, Reggie boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? Oh, yeah, you should be more happy to see me. Oh. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand? I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Ms. Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Rat-a-tat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, hey! Russ, I'm talking to my dear edgy wedgie boy right now. Don't interrupt us, Grabs.
Yes, madam.
No. Please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyways, your witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say. You're the hot-headed nowadays. Now, not that I mind at all, edgy boy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Ms. Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dear Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you are a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's too cute or in a fresh way or something. Then I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida.
But those two are the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo!
Oh god, here we go. This is gonna be some BS we gotta break down.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room, because I'm a stalker. There was something I was interested in finding out, because I'm a stalker. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye on the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was on guard, man on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
Okay. That it?
So, Mr. Ungard came out from the victim's room.
Hey, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Then away we go. Time to prove this old bag wrong. Something about what she said is gonna not make any sense, especially when she starts going into more detail after pressing this bitch. Ms. Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
The lobby, I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on and probably all would have collapsed.
Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. Indeed. Alright, what were you interested in finding out? I'm sure we already know, but go ahead and tell us. Something you were interested in, and just what is that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is the thing she was interested in?
I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? If this has something to do with the case, then you can append it to your testimony. Looks like we shouldn't force it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye on it the whole time. Okay. Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Corrida's room?
I have no idea. I forgot how to count. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am, so I'm still 20. Plus whatever. 20 plus whatever. I just say 20 plus.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not recorded in the report.
In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? That's when someone showed up and it was a man coming out of his room. Okay. Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was...
Yes, he was.
I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Francisca's whip right about now.
Well, I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway.
He did kill your fucking love of your life, did he not? You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Annoying Brad, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a mess like last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's clothes? The face? The person carrying? Yeah. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail.
You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shining teeth.
His teeth were shining?
Well, he's shining all around in this week's pinup poster, dearie.
Okay, this week's pinup? Why do you... I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night.
What? And God's face is the same no matter where it is, right? You whippersnapper?
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
It was. I gotta ask her more. Of course it was important, Your Honor.
Objection!
Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say.
Mr. Wright, there is something much more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I think I just wasted his good favor. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, and I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Alright, let's get back to that last thing. Press it again and ask her a different detail. Different detail. Different detail. Let's ask her about what he was wearing, or whatever. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket?
Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center, too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of those pantaloons, I tell you, men.
I tell you, men. Sorry, I read that wrong. Right. So, Mr. Wright, blah, 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 was testimony just now important, irrelevant, in any case. Very important, thank you. Can we just skip through this? I want to ask her the last question, so I have all 3 bits of whatever. And then after that, I don't know. Wait, what? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't realize it was different. Sorry.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness, please.
Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must...
Alright. He's wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Let's press that now. Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket?
What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he's wearing that.
She's so sure of herself that it's to the point of self-absorption. She may remember things we were mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. Okay. 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 Is there something I can present that could help me here? I'm not entirely sure that I have anything to help me here. Honestly, it's all just for show. I mean, the thing is, I'm interested in finding something out, you know. I'm pretty sure I know what this thing is. I'm saving it, because I'm actually going to present the thing here to see if we can maybe get her to start spouting out some other bullshit. So let's see if that works. If I present this.
Objection!
Your Honor, that statement contradicts... No, it doesn't. It doesn't contradict shit. That's not what I wanted to say at all. God damn it. Blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to see if that would do anything, to be perfectly honest. I was wrong. Okay, so something about this last one we gotta present then, right? Man, I don't know. She was sure it was the racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. She may not have been mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. But it also has a tendency to jump off topic. She strayed a few centuries times, and this time too, hasn't she? That's what makes her sweet a lady, right? Because you're not the one who has to question her. Let me go back to this one. Something you were interested in, and what was that? Top secret between me and Juan. Ah, and Edgy, of course. Mr. Edgeworth. I have no idea. Gossip? It's like you shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what I need to present right now, guys. I don't know what I need to do, and I don't like when I don't know what I need to do because it's the worst. Hey, yeah, I didn't mean to actually click that again. That was an accident. Come on, get through here. Alright. I'm trying to think what I could present for this last one. Wearing his thing, honestly, it's all just for show. What the hell would even... Maybe this? Should I show her this? Let's try it. Objection! This evidence clearly reveals the caution. Shit! I fucked up twice, man. I'm almost tempted to fuck up a third time just so I can restart with my life back. You know what? I'm gonna reload my save right now, so I'll meet you back here with my full life back, because I want my full life back. So I'm just gonna present another thing. It doesn't matter what it is, and I'll meet you back. Like I said, I'll be back in a second from reloading. Okay, so he was wearing his racing jacket, but I think our point is like, I think I have the right idea by saying he probably was wearing the samurai outfit, because the point is they were dressed for show, right? But that doesn't work. I tried to present that and it didn't work. So what else do I have that might prove that he was wearing the nickel samurai jacket and not his, or nickel samurai outfit and not his jacket? Do I have any other things that prove that? The only thing I have is the button or the knife, and the knife doesn't prove it. What does the button say again? Ripped from his costume. Wait. Found out on guard. Hakama, not his... Ooh, that's it. That's it. Oop. And luckily, I waved my Wiimote for that one. Ms. Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
Ah, it's numbered button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Damn, she knows exactly what it is. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it with a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Hey! Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engard's body during a full body search.
See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was the real rascal Engard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants.
See? See? And Engard is the nickel samurai.
You're not grasping the situation, dumbass. Witness! Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now didn't you just say that the defendant, Matt Engard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Uh-oh. Don't let your fucking shiny light bulb helmet explode.
Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you'd blah 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 blah. Shut up. Okay, dude, my voice is dying today already. It's heavy, so heavy. Dream alive, blah blah blah. Suck a dick. I don't know. Now take a look in the mirror. Your clothes are interesting and documentary and curling and blah blah blah. Edgy poo. Now you got style. She likes edgy.
Now hold your tongue still for just 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engard, the man, but Mr. Engard, the nickel samurai?
But when you think about it,
that just contradicts what you just said, though.
They're really one and the same anyway.
Ms. Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about.
Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth thinking about. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
All right, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing, not you. Okay, we got a new testimony. Great. Alright, well, at least we moved the damn thing along already.
On guard, on guard. Yes, now I remember. It was Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, maybe it would have been inconvenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.